Please help me welcome our favorite of the Queen Bees, Miss Loretta Devine.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Pat, you have things to say, or can I just open the Q&A?
We can open the Q&A, but I do want to tell you, doesn't she look amazing?
You're too kind.
Your wardrobe on screen, your wardrobe here, she's looked ravishing. She got here
so
Wednesday, and every day
I'm
she's
gonna
like
sit down.
beautiful. Are you okay if I tell the story of how we?
Yes, go ahead.
Barry, where are you? Barry Makatansky is somewhere in the audience, but I don't know where. Where? Sorry. Oh, there he is, front of the site. Stand up, Barry. Barry's a dear friend and, of course, on our board of directors. Yes, love this man. Barry has great connections. He got us Danny Guerrero, he got us Mark Shaman last year, and he is responsible for the amazing Loretta Devine. And it's a beautiful story of a friendship and a connection that has spanned over 30 years that neither one of these two have forgotten. It goes back to 30 years ago when Peter Dallas, Barry's roommate, we unfortunately lost him to AIDS. And his very, very dear friend, Peter Dallas's dear friend, was this lovely woman here, Loretta Devine. Loretta had given him a very, very special, a cherished gift, which was a crystal ball. Perfect for Sedona, wouldn't you say? It's meant to come, full circle. This crystal ball, Peter's mother came and started packing up the things after Peter passed away and was just going to have a garage sale. And he knew just how special this crystal ball was that Loretta had given to his friend Peter. And he ripped it out of the mother's hands and said, please, can I have this? I would like to return it to the person who gave it to him because it meant so much to their friendship.
It was so wonderful.
And when Miss Devine heard this, she said to Barry, if there's ever anything I can do for you ever, say the word, and I will do it. Be careful what you wish for, Miss Devine.
Who knew? 30 years later, who knew?
So we're sitting in my office and we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we kind of ask this of Miss Devine? Like, can we pull this chip in? And so we called Mark Shaman and said, Mark, do you have a direct connection to Loretta Devine? He goes, of course I do. She's in my cell phone. Let me call her. So he calls up Loretta. Within 5 minutes, we got a response back, and he had not only said, yes, Loretta wants to come to Sedona. She totally remembers that story. Just reach out to her personal manager and make it happen. And within a half an hour of that, we had this beautiful woman booked to come to Sedona.
Yes,
So,
I'm glad to come.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry, for connecting us. And you can obviously tell our audience loved you. So I'm gonna go down there and open the floor to questions, but I'm gonna fire the first one first because you've done literally everything in a career that spans over 3 decades and more. Dreamgirls, on stage, yes. Won an Emmy as Adele on Grey's Anatomy, of course, been on several TV shows, yes. Her movie career, we all know her from all the movies we love, both the comedies, because you're a comedic genius, and the dramas. Tell us, do you have, I know it's like picking a favorite child, I'm not saying to pick a favorite film, but if you were given just those, what is your favorite genre of those 3 to do and why? You don't have to say film, just because we're a film festival.
I have to say, honestly, that sitcoms are my favorite. Only because, sort of like theater, you have an audience. And the audience participates, and they let you know whether or not your joke was funny enough to be televised. So it's a lot of improv and working on things immediately. They may change 4 or 5 lines and say, okay, you should say this because it's funnier. And you do that. And then if the audience really loves it, it makes the TV show. So sitcoms are my favorite. And films, you have to go away from your family and stay in some strange place. You never know what's going to happen to you.
Well, my family and I are personally about the Carmichaels. The Carmichaels. So that's, oh my God, our favorite sitcom. It was critically acclaimed. People loved it, and it unfortunately lasted way too short a time. I think 2 or 3 seasons. Is that right?
Well, the Carmichaels was a summer replacement. You know, like in the summer they put the game shows on. They always put the shows on that last 8 weeks and not 13. So the Carmichaels was sort of like one of those shows, but it was very loved. It came in second, however, to Blackish, which was on ABC. So The thing I learned from that, though, is that the future is from the youth. The young man that created the show wrote it about his family, and he was early or late 20s. And because of that, I was able to do that TV show, and all of the people that were on that show have become very successful. Tiffany Haddish,
Yes.
Lil Rel, David Allen Greer, myself, Amber West, everyone. It was only 6 of us, and everybody has become some of America's favorite right now. They're all in huge movies and doing TV shows on Stars Plus and all that, so I'm very proud to have been part of that.
Well, and you should be proud. And you yourself, one of the busiest working actresses in Hollywood, we found this little window to get you here. Because tell them what you did. You were just finishing in Atlanta, and you have to go back somewhere shortly after this. What's on slate?
Oh my God, I have a lot of things coming. I'm on P Valley, which you all probably don't watch because you're too adult for that. And on P Valley, it's on Stars. I play an 80-year-old blind stripper. And I cuss so well, I won an Image Award this past season for it. So you just never know what's going to be happening as time goes by.
It sounds like that Tata towel might come in a little handy as a stripper.
I should make that and put it on the internet.
You should have brought them. You could have sold them here in Sedona,
Well,
don't you
anybody
think?
here could beat me to it.
What a brilliant
Just
idea.
wrap it around your neck. Okay, go ahead.
She's changing the subject line. If anyone has a question for Miss Devine, raise your hand, and I'll be happy to come to you in the audience. But let's talk about Dreamgirls. What was the role that launched Loretta Devine?
Okay, I was Lorel in the Broadway production of Dreamgirls, and we lasted on Broadway for 4 years, and from that 4 years, companies were created that toured the world. Dreamgirls is still done in high schools all over the world, China, everywhere you go, they have cast of girls that have done Dreamgirls, and of course, you know it from the movie that was done, the Dreamgirls movie, with all of the stars that have come out of that, Jennifer Hudson and Beyonce, Anika Noni Rose, they were the lead women, and they wouldn't even let me play anybody's mother. They were very mean. But I got into the movie. I called Henry Krieger, who was one of the musical directors, and so I got a chance to do a little tiny scene in the movie. And of course, Jennifer and Shirley Raff wanted to play their original parts, and they said no. So I was the only one that got a chance to be in it. And I played a nightclub singer. I had like 2 songs before Danny Glover went to sleep. Okay.
This was a very delightful and great movie. Do you have a favorite scene from that movie?
Oh, I should ask, do you have a favorite scene? That's a question. Could you tell me what was yours? You know, the movie for me, this was my first time seeing it on a big screen. I saw it on my phone, my little iPhone, or pieces of it. And so I know I look like I've been crying because there are moments in the movie that really made you want to tear up and made you want to just, it was just so many heartbreaking moments that were really, and then there was all the stuff that was funny. I just felt like a very full movie. Did you feel that way about it? Did you enjoy it? And I think it shows that in our culture, we sort of like discard people after 40. I don't know why this happens. Did it feel different seeing people your own age group in the movie? I mean, to me, and how beautiful. Oh my God, Ellen Burstyn, I thought she's so beautiful with that beautiful hair. We really have to work on this because people, they need to see that we are here and we are powerful. I'm telling you. That pandemic scared the hell out of me. I thought they were trying to knock us off first. I said, they want the ones with the money. Okay, ask me a question. So thank God for that vaccine, I guess. Who knows?
Hi, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie and happy Juneteenth.
Thank you.
This morning, or this afternoon, I was able to see you read a poem at a church in New York.
Really?
Was that your poem?
No, that was Margaret Walker. She wrote that in 1942. And a young man, this is my motto, no good deed goes unpunished. A young man that was also in Dreamgirls back in 1981. I saw him directing something fancy on TV, and I texted him and said, oh, you're so glad you're still working. Because Dreamgirls was 40 years ago. We just had our 40th year anniversary. You know, time just flies. And I complimented him, and the next week he put me to work. He said, could you do this poem from my church for Juneteenth? And how can you say no? You can't say no, because all of this is wrapped up into some godly thing that says you should go here or you should do that. And I couldn't tell him no, and now I found out it was on TV. Oh no, I didn't have good lighting. Huh? Ain't that something? You know, God, he works in mysterious ways. And in the black church, we say, won't he do it? Won't he do it? So, just in case you need to pull that out of somewhere when something good happens, everybody will know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay, I have got to say this. The lines in that movie were just so hysterical, and the way all the actors delivered them were just perfect. You had me in stitches, all of you here. And then, yeah, not just that. I could relate a lot of what was going on in that film to my own life.
Good.
And I don't know how many other people in this room could feel the same way. Thank you, everyone.
Well, one of the things I loved in the movie was the grandson, because he loved his grandmother so, and he wanted to make sure she was happy, and he loved his mother because he wanted to get them together. And that's why we want a lot of people to go with their families, their sons and daughters, to see this film, so we can hip-tip, so they'll know what, in case they're not acting properly yet. You can just say, you can see this young man, you see how he is, and go from there. Absolutely. And he was just as sweet in person. I get texts from him every time something exciting happens in his life. Yes.
Like many others, I loved this movie. And I have a crazy question for you. Have you ever considered doing stand-up?
I have you to know that I have a doctor's in theater from the University of Houston and Brandeis University, and I have a PhD doctorate. I never had the nerve to do, I feel like I'm doing stand-up now because I do love to talk. Okay, you're absolutely right, I should do it, but don't you think I'm a little aged to be up? Okay, Mom's Mabley, you're never too old, okay? Okay. Huh?
I was just wondering, can you tell me where I can get one of those towels for the boob sweat?
Somebody in this room is going to make one and make a fortune. I'm telling you that. So just keep checking the Instagram, TikTok, and wherever.
Question up here on the upper side of the balcony.
Ms. Devine, you're a fabulous actress. I have a question relative to acting in your persona. How much of you is in the role? How do you pick the role? Do you pick the role because it's like you, or you want to be that persona?
Oh, roles come just like this event came a lot of times. You're doing something because you want to help somebody's dream come true, or most of my work has been those independent films where you don't get paid money for it, you get paid gratitude. And some of the times the people grow up and become huge successes, and then they may have you back to do something. I've done a lot of films that are low-budget films. I've done television, I've done voiceovers. I'm really Hallie the Hippo on Doc McStuffin. Time for your checkup, time. I did that for 7 years. But most of the time, you feel like the roles of, I've always felt like most of my roles are sort of like God sent for some reason. The new jobs I have always come from people that you've helped or people that love you. Or this movie, in fact, one of the producers produced me in something years ago, and she said, Loretta, you have to be Mike Limbeck. There's this movie that I think you'd be right for. And so I went in, I had an audition meeting with him, and that was how I got a chance to be in Queen Bees. This movie has been renamed 3 times. At first it was going to be called Pine Grove, then it was going to be called Never Too Late, and to fit the attitude of our culture today, they changed it to Queen Bees. So, and the reception has been incredible. I must tell you, everyone that has seen it, that have been in an audience, they are just so amazed by the response that people love it so much and said they see it again or they want to see it with their family. So thank you so much for your attitude about the movie. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much for bringing such authenticity and integrity to your roles. It's quite lovely to see. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like working with the others? Because you all seem like you had a ball.
We actually did. There were, we shot the movie in Atlanta, Georgia in 2018, really. It was pre-pandemic. So all of the people were actually able to hug and touch and do the things that you normally are used to seeing in a film. And that helped it out a lot. All of us stayed in the same hotel, a place called the La Meridian, and it was surrounded by restaurants and shopping malls in the front, in the back. It was an incredible space. Pools, anything you could want. You could walk 5 minutes and get to different types of restaurants you could order in. The hotel had jazz in the evening. So we did a lot of hanging out off-set and on-set. It was sort of like a paid vacation. I had a sister crush on Anne Margaret because, my God, she was so like her character in so many ways. She just had a kindness. She was soft-spoken, very sexy all the time without even trying. I went to the mall with her one day, and then the next day I said, let's go to the craft area, because that was on the other side of the freeway, and we would have to walk and get over there some kind of way. And she wore heels, and we actually went upside this mountain, and I introduced her to Ross, which is a store that I shop at. Miss Anne Margaret could not believe that you could buy some pants for $14. She was like, I think she was scared because she ran out of the place. She was like, oh, I have to go. She's like, oh, we had a wonderful time together. We would shuttle to work, which is sort of like a 20-minute drive in a van. All of us would, whoever was in the scene that day would be in the van that day. And we talked about everything, the condition of the world. Some of the younger women that were in the van, like Ella had, I think it was her granddaughter that came and to make sure that everything was fine, that she didn't have to do everything after. But I was terrified of Ella, and she's very serious. Could you believe those serious scenes that she had to do? She would break your heart 1 minute, and then you're laughing at her jokes the next. That is truly a gift. So we were all close. We had a good time, we really did.
Question right here.
Hi, I just got to say, wow. I mean, everybody sitting here, we all had the same energy, in this movie. And, I'm kind of speaking for my mom. She's 81. She's had every disease pretty much, stage 4 bone cancer, stents, melanoma. She's had it all. And last night, they're doing karaoke at the Elks Lodge. And I'm just sitting here, and, she gets her eyelashes done. Day before that, her hair done. The whole group, that's what they do. And I don't care what age you are. I mean, she's living. She's living every day, and it's unbelievable. A couple years ago, I had a near, death experience myself, and she took care of me. And I went back, and I said, I'm not going to wait for you to die. We need to live. And she's living. I'm here in Sedona living, and it's beautiful. This whole thing is beautiful, and if everybody can take from this, I mean, let's dance, let's karaoke,
Yes.
let's do it all.
Absolutely.
And I hope the message hit everyone. It's beautiful. Thank you, Mom.
And it was so much fun going back on the behind the scenes. Someday, if you want me to share them with you, and Loretta lets me, she sent me some behind the scenes pictures that they were having a blast behind camera. What was the things with the? I didn't put it up. I did not put it up. I didn't want to get the guilty. What was the chocolate thing though? Jane Curtin with the chocolate on her teeth.
Oh my God. Alex Maper, who played the masseuse in the movie. Now he's a stand-up comedian. If you can check him out on Instagram or all those tic-tac, all those places. But they had chocolate. They had put chocolate all over their mouth like their teeth were out and took pictures. Jane Curtin and him. I don't know. I cannot tell you why. They were just enjoying themselves.
So we have blackmail material on Jane Curtin if we ever need it. That's right.
Hey, Loretta, it's important to me that the audience knows what a woman of integrity you are, and that we traveled through a very difficult time together in our communities. And Loretta Devine was an advocate for marginalized people. For the 20 years that I watched her in action, she never said no to a fundraising opportunity. She spoke publicly in defense of marginalized people. She is more than a remarkable actress. She's an incredible human being. I'm grateful that you're
Oh,
here.
Barry, thank you. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Oh, don't y'all have me crying up in here.
So we've got time for a couple more questions. I'll come to you, John. But I obviously in the movie, having sex with Ellen Burstyn was not on your bucket list. But, what is on the Loretta Devine bucket list? What have you not done yet that you want to do, or an actor or actress that you want to work with, or director? What's the Loretta Devine bucket list?
Oh my God. Oh. I don't know the answer to that. I feel all the time I'm doing all the stuff if I'm working, I'm doing the stuff I want to do. I have so many, and I'm a crafty person. So when the pandemic hit, I was like psyched. I said, oh my God, I have so much yarn, so much paint, so much glue, some beads stacked up, and some fabric. Oh, I am on. I mean, so I've been doing all my craft stuff, which is, ask my husband over there. I absolutely enjoy doing that. I've been learning how to do origami. I know these are not really bucket listy things, but it's really turning me on. I can make a crane like in 2 seconds. Oh my God. I know a lot of people on that bucket list is a lot of traveling, but that's not for me. When I first started out trying to go places, they would take me in the back and frisk me to see if I was a drug dealer. I have had some, when I went to London on my own, okay, I didn't study long enough to know how to, all I could say was Unitazani, which is the United States. That's where you from. And so every experience I've had was whenever I travel out the country has been like scary to me. So I don't have any traveling on my bucket list too much. I did get a chance to go to South Africa in a movie, that 18-hour flight. I don't know if it's worth it. It was so hard. And then you get there and you're scared because I was in one of the ritziest hotels there and they kept locking that girl up like somebody was coming. At night, when I would come home from work, they would have to take the boat locky chain thing. That's scary. So a lot of traveling isn't on my bucket list. So my bucket list is to continue to be me, to continue to work. I just enjoy my life. I like what I do, and it's fun. I miss the red carpet, though. That's fun.
I really enjoyed this movie, and I really loved how you played your role. I just had one minor problem that I want to mention, and that is with the casting of your role. I found it hard to believe that you were old enough to be in that facility.
You sound like Ellen Burstyn. She had me scared for a week. I'm 71, and I was the proper age. Thank you.
I just want to say, I think you had some of the best lines and the best delivery. You so rapidly became my favorite character. And my favorite line had to be when you mentioned in high school, you graduate. Here, you die.
Yes.
Loved it and loved you.
Thank you.
Well, and that goes to also, it was obviously scripted and things. Was there any improvisation on set? I mean, with someone like you, who's a natural, and Jane Curtin, of course, from Saturday Night Live, improv. Was there any improvisation that went along, or was that pretty much the script?
The bedroom scene, when I'm in bed with Ellen Burstyn, just about that entire scene was improv. But we had permission from the director. He had talked to me and about the fact that my mother actually was a beautician when I was growing up, and I grew up in a beauty salon. I knew how everything worked. But Ellen didn't know how much improv, because when I pulled that piece of hair out of my head, she was not acting anymore. She was like, ah! And the whole thing with the bucket list, that was my idea, because we wanted it. We thought it was like a great moment for people to go, oh, did something happen? For us to clear that up. So the Tata stuff was written, but everything else in that scene was improv mostly. Yeah.
Well, I think you clearly made a hit here in Sedona, Miss Loretta Devine. And I hope...
Thank you so much. I feel so good about the movie.
I hope this is not the last time you are here. You are welcome back anytime, my dear. I'd like to. Loretta will be out on the red carpet waving. We can't take pictures with everyone, but you can take a picture of her because we need to whisk her off somewhere. But do swing by and say hello. Thank you, Miss Devine. Thank you all for coming. Don't forget to vote and hand your ballots to the volunteers at the doors.